Hello everyone, my name is Rency and today we will continue our story. So we start. The Verese is not atheistical. Sri Yukteswar explained it merely signifies that to the enlightenment man, dependent on his sense for all final judgments, proof of God must remain unknown, therefore non-existent. True Sankhya followers with unstable insight born of meditation understand that the Lord is both extant and knowledgeable. Master expounded the Christian Bible with a beautiful clarity. It was from my Hindu Guru, unknown to the roll call of Christian membership that I learned to perceive the deathless essence of the Bible and to understand the truth in Christ's aspirations. Surely the most thrillingly institution ever uttered. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. The great master of India would their lives by the same godly ideas that animated Jesus. Uh, these men are his proclaimed kin. Uh, whosoever Whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. If ye continue in my world, Christ pointed out, they are ye my displace indeed, and ye shall know the truth. Then are ye my disciples and free men all. Lord of themselves, the yogi Christians of India are part of the immortal fraternity, those that attain a liberating knowledge of the one Father. The Adam and Eve story is incomprehensible to me. I observed with a considerable heat one day in my early struggles with the illegally. Why did God punish? Why did God punish not only the guilty pair but also in innocent urban generations? Master was amused more by my vehemence that by my ignorance. Genesis is deeply symbolic and cannot be grasped by literal interpretations. He explained its tree of life is the human body, and the spine cord is like an upturned tree with a man's hair as its roots, and efferent nervous as a branches. The tree of the the tree of the nervous system bears many enjoyable fruit or sensations of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. In this, man may rightfully indulge, but he was forbidden the experience of sex, the apple at the center of the body. In in the midst of the garden, the serpent respends the coiled up spine energy that stimulates the sex nervous. Adam is reason and Eve is feeling. When the emotion or heavy concupiscence in any human being is overpowered by the sex impulse, his reason of Adam also succumbs. God created the human species by materializing the bodies of man and woman through the force of his will. He he endowed the new species with the power to create children in a similar immutated of or divine manner, because his manifestations in the individualized soul had hitro been limited to animals instinct bound and lacking the potentialize of full reason. God made the first human bodies, symbolically called Adam and Eve. To this, uh, for advantageous upward evaluation, he transferred the soul of divine essence of two animals in Adam or man. Thus, reason predominated in even in a way or a woman, feeling was ascendant. Thus was expressed the duality or a polarity that underlies the formenial words. Reason and feeling remain in a heaven of cooperative joy, so long as the human mind is not tricked by the separation energy of animal prosperity. We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. In the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did it. The woman said, the serpent bewildered me, and I did it. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God create he him, male and female, create he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdued it. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. The human body was therefore not solely a result of evolution from beasts, but was produced through an act of special creation by God. The animal force were too crude to express full divinity. Man was uniquely given the potentially omniscient thousand petals lotus in the brain, as well as actually awakened occurrent centers in the spine. God or the divine consciousness present within the first created pair uh, con- counseled them to enjoy all human sensibilities with one expectations, sex sensations. These were banned lest humanity aims itself in the inferior animal method of propagations. The warning not to revive subconsciously present bestial memories was unheeded. Resuming the way of beauty, its beauty procreation, Adam and Eve fell from the state of heavenly joy natural to the original perfect man. When they knew that they were naked, their consciousness of immorality was lost. Even as God had warned them, they had placed themselves under the physical law by which bodily birth must be followed by bodily death. The knowledge of good and evil promised Eve by the separated refers to dualistic and oppositional experiences that mortals under Maya must go. Falling into delusions thought misuse of his feeling and reason, or Eve and Adam consciousness, man relinquished his right to enter the heavenly garden of divine self-sufficiency. The personal responsibility of every human being is to restore his parents or dual natural to a unified harmony or Eden. As Sri Yukteswar ended his discoveries, I glanced with new respect at the page of Genesis. Now the serpent was more suitably and more subtle than any beast of the field, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put them, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Genesis, therefore, the Lord God sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. Genesis, the divine man first made by God, had his consciousness centered in the omnipotent single eyes in the forehead. The all creative powers of his will, focused at that spot, were lost to the man, and when he began to till the ground, or his physical nature. Dear Master, I said for the first time, and I feel a proper filial obligations toward Adam and Eve. The Adam and Eve story of the Hindus is recounted in the Hari Purana, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and the first man and woman, its beings in physical form, are called Swayambhuva Manu, a man born of the Creator, and his wife Saput and his wife Sataput. It's a Satarpura true image. It's a Satarpura true image. Their 5 children intermarried with Prajapati's perfect beings who could assume corporeal form. From these first divine families was born the human race. Never in East or West have I heard anyone else expounded the Christian scriptures with so deep spiritual insights as Sri Yukteswar's theologians. Its theologians have ministrated crisis towards. Master said, in such a passage as I am in the way, the truth, and the life, no man comes unto the Father, but by me. Jesus meant never that he was the sole Son of God, but that no man can attain the unqualified, absolute, the transcendent Father beyond creation until he has first manifested the Son, or actively Christ consciousness within a creation. Jesus, who had achieved entry conscience with that Christ consciousness, identified himself with it inasmuch as his own ego and long since been dissolved. When Paul wrote, God created all things by Jesus Christ, and when Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am, the shares essence of the world is and this world is impersonality, a form of a spiritual cowardice leads many worldly people to believe comfortably that only one man was the Son of God. Christ was uniquely created. They reason. So how can I, mere mortal, emulated him? But all men have been divinely created, and must somebody obey Christ's command, but yet therefore perfect. Even as your Father which is in the heaven is perfect, behold what manner of the love Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Under understanding of the law of karma and of its corollary, rain creations is displayed in numerous biblical passages. Example, whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. If every murderer must himself be killed by man, the reactive process obviously required. In many cases, more than one lifetime, the contemporary police are just not quick enough. The early Christian church expect the doctrine of rainy creations, which was expounded by the Gnostic and by numerous church fathers, including Clement of Alexandria. The celebrated Origen and St. Germanian. The doctrine was first declared a heresy in AD 553 by the Second Council of Constantinople. At that time, many Christians thought the doctrine of rain creations afforded man to ample a stage of time and space to encourage him to strive for immediate salvations, but trust suppressed and suppressed led discurrently to a host of error. The millions have not utilized their own lifetime to seek God. but to enjoy this world so uniquely one and so shortly to be forever lost. The truth is that man recreates on earth until he has consequently regained his status as a son of God, or son of God. Sasi and the three sapphires. Because you and my son think so highly of Swami Sri Yukteswar's, I will take a look at him. The tone of voice used by Dr. Narayan Chandar Roy implied that he was a humorian, the wimp of heart of half-wits. I concluded my indignations in the best traditions of the Prostelers. My companion, a veterinary surgeon, was confirmed against his young son. Santosh had impelled me to take an interest in his father. So far, my invaluable aid had been a bit on the invisible side. Dr. Roy accompanied me the following day to the Serampore Hermitage. After Master had guaranteed him a brief interview, marked for the most part by stoic silence on the both sides, the visitor brusquely departed. Why bring a dead man to the ashram? Sri Yukteswar looked at me inquiringly as soon as the door had closed on the Calcutta skeptic. Sir, the doctor is very much alive, but in a short time he will be dead. I was shocked. Sir, this will be a terrible blow to his son Santosh, yet hopes for a time to change his father's materialistic views. I beseech you, Master, to help the man. Very well, for your sake. My Guru's face was impassive. The proud horse doctor is far gone in a diabetes. Although he does not know it, in 15 days he will take to his bed. The the, physi- the physician the physicians will be given up give him up for lost. His natural time to leave this earth is 6 weeks from today. Owing to your intercreations, however, on that date he will recover. But there is one condition: you must get him to wear an astrological bangle. He will doubtless object as violently as one of his horse before an operation. Master chuckled. After a silence during which I wondered how Santosh and I might best employ the arts of cajolery on the doctor, Sri Yukteswar's made futures disclosures. As soon as the man gets well, advised him not to eat meat. He will not heed this counsel. However, and in 6 months, just as he is feeling at his best, he will drop dead. My Guru added, the 6 month extension of life is guaranteed him only because of your pla. The following day, I suggested to Santosh that he ordered an armlet at the jeweller's. It was ready in a week, but Dr. Roy refused to put it on. I am in the best of health. You will never impress me with these astrological superstitions. Doctor glanced at me. It's belligerently. I recalled with amusement that Master had justifiably compared the man to a Beckley horse. Another 7 days passed. The doctor suddenly ill, meekly consented to wear the bangle too. 2 weeks later, the physicians in attendance told me that his patient's case was hopeless. He supplied harrowing details of the revenges inflicted by diabetes. I shook my head. My Guru has said that after a sickness lasting 1 month, Dr. Roy will be well. The physicians started at me incredulously. incredulously, but he sought me out, out a fortnight later with an apologetical air. Dr. Roy has made a complete recovery, he exclaimed. He exclaimed, "It is the most amazing case in my experience. Never before have I seen a dying man show such an inexplicable comeback. Your guru must indeed be a healing prophet." After one interview with Dr. Roy, during which I repeated Sri Yukteswar's advice about a meatless diet, I did not see the man again for 6 months. He stopped for a chat one evening as I sat on the pizzas of my family home. Uh, Pizzas of my family home. Tell your teachers by the eating meat frequently. I have only regained my strength. His unsatisfying ideas on diet have not influenced me. It was true that Dr. Roy looked a picture of the health. But the next day, Santosh came running to me from his home on the next block. This morning, father dropped dead. This case was one of my strangest experiences with Master. He held the rebellious veterinary surgeon in spite of his disbelief and extend the man's natural term on earth by 6 months just because of my earliest supplications. Sri Yukteswar was boundless in his kindness when responding to an urgent prayer of a devotee. It was my produced privileges to bring college friends to meet my guru. Many of them would lay aside, at least in the ashram, their fashionable academic cloak of religious skepticism. One of my friends, Sashi, spent a number of happy weekends in Sarampore. Master became immensely fond of the boy and lamented that his private life was wild and disorderly. Sasi, unless you reformed 1 year hence, you will be dangerously ill. Sri Yukteswar gazed at my friend with affectionate expressions. Mukunda is the witness. Don't say later that I didn't warn you. Sasi laughed. Master, I will leave it to you to interest a sweet charity of cosmos in my own sad case. My spirit is wailing, but my will is weak. You are my only savior on earth. I believe in nothing else. At least you should wear a two-cart blue sapphire. It will help you. I can't afford one. Anyhow, dear Guruji, if trouble comes, I fully believe you will protect me. In a year, you will bring their spheres. Sri Yukteswar replied, they will be of no use then. Variations of these conversations took place regularly. I can't reform, Susi would say in comical despair, and my trust in you, Master, is more precious to me than any stone. A year passed. One day I was visiting my guru at the Calcutta home and of his displays. Narendra Babu, it's Naren Babu. About 10 o'clock in the morning, as Sri Yukteswar and I were sitting in the second floor parlor, I heard the front door open. Master straightened swiftly. It is that Sasi, he remarked gravely. The year is now up. Both his lungs are gone. He has ignored my counsel. Tell him I don't want to see him. Half stunned, half stunned by Sri Yukteswar's strength, I raced down the stairway. Sasi was ascending. Oh Mukunda, I do hope Master is here. I had a hunch he might be. Yes, but he doesn't wish to be distributed. Sasi burst into tears and brushed past me. He threw himself at Sri Yukteswar's feet, placing there three beautiful superiors. Omniscient Guru, the doctors say I have a tuberculosis. They gave me only 3 months to life. I humbly implore your aid. I know you can help me. Isn't it a bit late now? Now to be worrying over your life? Depart with your jewelers. Their time of usefulness is past. Master then Sant Seffings like in an unreality slides punctured, punctured, punctured by the boy's sobs for mercy. When an intuitive conviction came to me that Sri Yukteswar was merely testing the depth of Sasi's faith in the divine healing power, I was not surprised. A tense is later when Master turned a sympathetical gaze on my prostrate friend. Get up, Sasi. What a commotions you make in another priest's house. Return the superiors to the dwellers. They are an unnecessary expense now. But get an astrological bangles at wear it. Fear not. In a few weeks you shall be well. Sasi, its smile illuminated his tear-marred face like a sudden sun over a sodden landscape. Beloved Guru, shall I take the medicines prescribed by the doctors? Just as you wish, bring them or discard them, it doesn't not matter. It is an impossible for you to die to tuberculosis as it would be for the sun and moon. It been mean moon to interchange their positions. Sri Yukteswar added absurdly, go now before I changed my mind. uh, with an with an agitated now. Bo, my friend hastily departed, and I visited him several times during the next few weeks, and was aghast to find his conditions increasingly worse. Sasi cannot last throughout the night. These words from his physicians and the septuals of my friend, now reduced almost to a skeleton, sent me a post haste to Serampur. My guru listened coldly to my tearful report. Why do you come here to brother me? You have already heard me assure Sasi of his recovery. I bowed before him in great awe and retreated retreated to the door. Sri Yukteswar said no parting word, but sank into silence, his unwinking eyes half open, their vision filled to another world. I returned at once to Sasi's home in Calcutta. With astonishment, I found my friend sitting up, drinking milk. Oh Mukunda, what a miracle! 4 hours ago, I felt Master's presence in the room. My trivial symptoms immediately disappeared. I feel that through His grace I am entirely well. In a few weeks, Sasi was souter and in better health, better health than ever before. But his reactions of his healing was tinged with ingratitude. He seldom visited Sri Yukteswar again. My friend told me one day that he so deeply regretted his previous mode of life that he was ashamed to face Master. I could not conclude that Sasi's illness had had the constraining effect to satisfying his will and impairing his manners. The first 2 years of my course at a Scottish church college were drawing to a close. My classroom attendance had been every spasmodic when what little studying I did was only to keep peace with my family. My two private tutors came regularly to my house. I was regularly absent. I discern at least this one regularity in my skeletalist career. In India, to successful years of college bring an intermediate arts diploma. The student may then look forward to another 2 years and his AB degree. The intermediate arts final examinations loomed ominously ahead. I flew to Puri, where my guru was spending a few weeks, regularly hoping that he would say, "I need to not appear at the finals." I told him to of my un- unpreparedness. Shri Yukteswar smiled concealingly. You have wholeheartedly pursued your spiritual duties and could not help neglecting your college work, applying yourself diligently to your books for the next week. You shall get thought your ordeal without failure. I returned to Calcutta, firmly suppressing the reasonable doubts that occasionally assailed me. Surviving the mountains of books on my table, I felt like a traveler lost in a wilderness. A long, a long period of meditation brought me a labor-saving inspirations, opening each book at random. I studied only those pages that lay thus exposed. After I had pursued this course during 18 hours a day for 1 week, I considered myself an expert on the art of cramming. The following days in the examination halls were justifications of my seemingly has haphazard procedures. I passed all the tests taught by hybrid congratulations of my friend, and the finally and the family were ludicrously mixed with ejaculations between their astonishment. On his return from Puri, Sri Yukteswar gave me a pleasant surprise. Your Calcutta studies are now over, he said. I shall see that your last 2 years of university work right here in Serampore. I was puzzled. Sir, there is no bachelor of arts course in this town. Serampore College, the sole institutions of higher learning, offered only a 2-year course in intermediate arts. Master seemed mischievously, I am not too good, and I am too old to go about collecting donations to established and AB college for you. I guessed I shall have to arrange the matter through someone else. 2 months later, Professor Howells, president of Serampore College Publicity, announced that he had succeeded in raining sufficient funds to offer a 4-year course. Serampore College became an affiliated branch of Calcutta University. I was one of the first students of enroll in Serampore as an AB candidate. Guruji, how kind you are to me. I have been longing to leave Calcutta and be near you every day in Serampore. Professor Howells does not dream how much he owes to your silent help. Sri Yukteswar gazed at me with mock severity. Now you won't have to spend so many hours on train. What a lot of time for your studies. Perhaps you will become less of a last minute's premier and more of a scholar. But somehow his tone lacked its a conviction. Sri Yukteswar's, like many another sages, it's gravitated at the materialistic trend of modern education. Few schools expound the spiritual laws for happiness or teach that wisdom consists in guiding one's life in the fear of God, that is in a way of one's maker. Young people who today hear in high schools and colleges that man is merely a higher animal often become enthusiastic. They do not attempt any explorations of or conditioner themselves in their essential nature to be images of God. Emerson observed that only which we have within can we see without. If we meet no gods, it is because we harbor none. He who imagines his animal nature to be his only reality is cut off from divine aspirations. An educational system that does not present spirit as the central fact of man's existence in offering avidya, false knowledge, thou sayest, I am rich and increased with gods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art a wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked. The education of youth in ancient India was ideal. At the age of 9, the pupil was received as a son in a Guru's family home as a seat of learning. The modern boy spends an 18 and 8th of his time at school. The Indian spent his whole time in there. Professors S.V. Venkateshwara write in Indian culture throughout the ages. There was a heartly feeling of solidarity and responsibility, and ample opportunity for the exercise of self-reliance and individuality. There was a high standard of culture, self-imposed discipline, and stern regard for duty, selfless actions, and sacrifice, combined with a self-respected and reverence for others, a high standard of academic dignity, and a sense of the noble and the great purpose of human life. A Mohammedan wonder worker. Years ago, right in this very room you now occupy, a Mohammed wonder worker performed 4 miracles before me. Sri Yukteswar made this statement during his first visit to my new quarters. Immediately after entering Serampore College, I had taken a room in a nearby a boarding house called a Banthi. It was an old-fashioned brick mansion fronting the Gangas. Master, what a coincidence! What a coincidence! Are these newly decorated walls really ancient with memories? I looked around my simply furnished room with awakeness interest. It is a long story. My guru smiled reminiscently. The name of the fakir was Afzal Khan. He had acquired his extraordinary powers through a chance encounter with a Hindu yogi. Son, I am thirsty. Fetch me some water. A dust-covered sannyasi made this request of Afzal one day, and during his early boyhood in a small village of eastern Bengal. Master, I am a Muhammad. How could you, a Hindu, expect a drink from my hand? Your truthfulness please me, my child. I do not observe the ostracizing rules of Ondogoli secretarianism. Go bring me water quickly. Alfaz Afzal's repentant obedience was rewarded by a loving glance from the yogi. You possess God. You possess good karma from former lives. Solemnly, I am going to teach you a certain yoga method that will give you command over one of the invisible realms. The great power that will be yours should be exercised for worthy residents, for students from Pantha, wandered and seekers of knowledge. A, mo- a mausoleum, a mausoleum yogi from the Arabic fakir who were originally applied to disrivals under a vow of poverty. Never employ them selfishly. I perceives, alas, that you have brought over from the past some seeds of destructive tendencies. Do not allow them to sprout by watering them with fresh evil actions. The complexity of your previous karmas is such that you must use this life to reconcile your yogic accomplishment with the highest humanitarian goals. After instructing the aims boy in the complicated technique, the master vanished. Afzal faithfully followed his yoga exercise for 20 years. His miraculous feats being to attract widespread attentions. It seems that he was always accompanied by a disembodied spirit whom he called Hazrat. This invisible entity was able to fulfill the fakir's slightest wish, ignoring his master's warning. Afzal began to misuse his powers. Whatever object he took up and then replaced would soon disappear without a trace. This disconnectingly eventually usually made the Muhammad and objectionable guest. He visited large jewelry stores in Calcutta from time to time, representing himself as a possible purchaser. Any jewels he handled would vanish shortly after he had left the shop. Afzal was often surrounded by several hundred students attracted by the hope of learning his secrets. The fakirs occasionally invited them to travel with him. At the railway station, he would manage to touch a roll of tickets. This he would push toward the clerk, remarking, "I have changed my mind and won't buy them now." But when he boarded then the train with his retinue, Afzal would be possessions of the required tickets. These exploits created in indignant uproar. Bengali jewelers and ticket sellers were skewing to nervous breakdowns. The police who sought to arrest Afzal found themselves helpless. The fakir could remove incriminately evidence merely by saying, Hazarat, it's a Hazrat, take this away. Sri Yukteswar rose from his seat and walked to the balcony of my room, which overlooked the Gangas. I followed him, eager to hear more of the baffling Muhammad ruffians. The Panthi house formerly belonged to a friend of mine. He became acquainted with Afzal and asked him here. My friend also invited about 20 neighbors, including myself. I was only a youth then, and felt a lively curiosity about the notorious fakir. Master laughed. I took the precautions of not wearing anything valuable. Afzal looked me over inquiringly, then remarked, "You have powerful hands. Go down straight to the garden, get a smooth stone, and write your name on it with chalk. Then throw the stone as far as possible into the Gangas." I obeyed as soon as the stone had vanished under distant waves, and the Muhammad addressed me again. Fill a pot with Gangas, waited near the front of this house. After I had returned with a vessel of water, the fakir cried, Hazrat. Hazrat put the stone in the pot. The stone appeared at once. I removed it from the vessels and found my signature as legible as when I had written it. Babu, one of my friends in the room, was wearing a heavy antique gold watch and chain. The fakir examined them with omniscient admirations. Soon they were missing. Afzal, please return my prized heirloom. Babu was nearly in tears. The Mohammedan was stoically silent for a while, then said, You have a 500 rupees in an iron safe. Bring them to me, and I will tell you where to locate your timepieces. The district's Babu left immediately for his home. He came back too shortly and handed Afzal that the required sum. Go to the little bridge near your house. The fakir instructed Babu, call on Hazrat to give you the watches and chain. Babu rushed away. On his return, he was wearing a smile of relief and no jewelry whatever. When I commanded Hazrat as directed, he announced, My watches came tumbling down and the air into my right hand. You may be sure I looked at the heirloom in my safe before rejoining the group here. I do not recall the name of Sri Yukteswar's friend and must refer to him as simply as a Babu. Babu's friends, Babu's friend witnessed of the coordinary and of the ransom for a watch were straining with restatement at Afzal. He now spoke placidly. Please name any drink you want. Hazrat will produce it. A number asked for milk, others for fruit juices. I was not too much shocked when the unrived Babu requested whiskey. The Muhammad given an order. The obliging Hazrat sent containers sailing down and thudding and thudding to the floor. Each man found his desire beverages. The promise of the fourth spectacular feat of the days was doubtless gratifying to our host. Afzal offered to supply and instruments launch. Let us order the most expensive dishes. Babu suggested gloomily, I want an elaborated meal for my 500 rupees. Everything should be served on gold plates. As soon as each man had expressed his perfections and his preferences, the fakirs addressed himself to inexhaustible Hazrat. A great retailed ensued gold platters filled with intricately prepared cruises, hot luches, and many out of session fruit laundered from nowhere out at our feet. All the food was delicious. After feasting for an hour, we started to leave the room. A, a tremendous noise as throat dishes were being peeled up caused us to turn around. Lo, there was no sign of the glittering plates of the remains of the meal. Guruji, I interpreted, if Afzal could easily secure such things as gold dishes, why did he covet the property of others? The fakir was not highly developed spiritually, Sri Yukteswar explained. His mastery of a certain yoga technique gave him access to an astral plan where any desire in immediately materialized through the agency of an astral being's Hazrat. The Muhammad could summon the atoms of any object from etherical energy by an act of powerful will. But such astrologically produced object are structurally events can't they cannot be long retained. Afzal still yearned for worldly health, just as my silver amulet, an astrally produced object, finally vanished from this earth, which thought more hardly earned has a more dependable durability. I laughed. I laughed. It too sometimes vanished unaccountably. Afzal was not man of God realizations. Master went on miracles of permanent and beneficial nature are performed by true sons because they have attuned themselves to the omnipotent creator. Afzal was merely an ordinary man with an extraordinary power of a pentering, a stubble, a subtle remains not usually extended by mortals' unil death. I understand now, Guruji. The afterworld appearance to have some charming features. Master agreed. I never saw Afzal after that day, but a few years later, Babu come to my home to show me a newspaper account of the Mohammedans' public confessions. From it I learned the facts I have just told you about Afzal's early intentions from a Hindu guru. The gist of the later part of the published document, as recalled by Sri Yukteswar, was as flowers. I, Afzal, Afzal Khan, am write. I, Afzal Khan, am writing these words as an act of penance and as a warning to those who seek possessions of a miraculous power. For years, I have been misusing the wondrous abilities imparted to me thoughts the grace of God and my master. I became drunk with egoistic feeling that I was beyond the ordinary laws of morality. My day of reckoning finally arrived. Recently, I met an old man on a road outside Kolkata. He limped along a painfully carrying a shining object that looked like gold. I addressed him with a greed in my heart. I am Afzal Khan, the great fakir. What have you there? This ball of gold is my sole material wealth. It can be of on interest to a fakir. I implore you, sir, to hail my limp. I touched the ball and walked away without a reply. The old man hobbled after me. He soon raised an outcrying, "My gold is gone." As I paid no attention, he suddenly spoke in a centauriism voice that issued oddly from his fairly body. "Do you no recognize me?" I stopped speechless, aghast at the belated discovery that this unimpressive old cripple was none other than the great sant who, long ago, had intended me into yoga. He strengthened himself, his body instantly became strong and youthful. So my Guru's glance was a fiery. "I see with my own eyes that you use your powers not to help a suffering humanity, but to prey on it like a common thief. I withdraw your occult gifts. Hazrat is now freed from you. No longer shall you be a terrorist in Bengal." I called on Hazrat in anguished tones. For the first time, he did not appear to my inner sight. but a dark valley, but a dark veil suddenly lifted. I saw clearly the blasphemy of my life. My Guru, I thank you for coming to banish my long delusions. I was sobbing at his feet. I promised to forsake my worldly ambitions. I will retire to the mountains for a lonely meditation on God, hoping to atone for my evil past. My master regarded me with silent compassion. I feel you sincerity, he said finally. Because of your earlier years of strict obedience and because of your present repentances, I will grant you one bond. Your others powers are now gone, but whenever food and clothing are needed, powers needed, you may still call successfully on Hazrat to supply them. Devote yourself wholeheartedly to divine understanding in the solitudes. My Guru then vanished. I was left to my tears and reflections. Farewell, worlds. I go to seek the forgiveness of the cosmics bewildered. My master in Calcutta appears in a Serampore. I am often based my atheistic doubts, yet torturing sermons sometimes hunts me. May not untapped soul possibilities exist? Is man not missing his real destiny if he fails to explore them? These remarks of Dijin's Babu, my roommate at the Panthi, Panthi boarding house, were called forth by inventions that he met my Guru. Sri Yukteswarji will initiate you into Kriya Yoga. I replied, it calms the dualistic turmoil by a divine inner certainty. That evening design accompanied me to the hermitage in Master's presence. My friend received such a spiritual peace that he was soon a constant visitor. The trivial precomplications of daily life do not satisfy our deepest need for wisdom. Two men has a native hunger. By Sri Yukteswar's words, design was inspired to try to discover within him a realer self than the shallow ego of a transient incarnation. As design and I were both pursuing the Abbey course at Serampore College, we got into a habit of walking together to the ashram. As soon as classes were over, we would often see Sri Yukteswar standing on his second floor balcony, welcoming our approach with a smile. One afternoon, Kanai, a young hermitage resident, met a Dizian and me at the door with disappointing news. Master is not here. He was summoned to Calcutta by an urgent note. The following day, I received a postcard from my Guru. I shall leave Calcutta Wednesday morning. He had written, you and didn't meet the 9 a.m. train at a Serampore station. About 8:30 on Wednesday morning, a telepathic message from Sri Yukteswar flashed instantly to my mind. I am delayed. Don't meet the 9 o'clock train. I conveyed the last instructions to Design, who was already dressed for a death tour. You and your institutions. My friend's voice was aged in Scron. I preferred to trust Master's written word. I shrugged my shoulders and skidded myself with a quaint finality, muttering angrily. Dizian mad for the door and closed it noiselessly behind him. As the room was rather dark, I moved nearer to a window overlooking the street. The scant sunlight suddenly increased to an instant brilliancy in which the iron-barred window completely vanished. Against this dazzling background appeared the clearly materialized figure of Sri Yukteswar, bewildered, bewildered to the point of shock. I rose from my chair and knelt before him with my customary gestures of respectful greetings at my guru's feet. I touched his shoes. His shoes, these were a pair familiar to me, of orange-dealed canvas, soldered with rope. His ochre Swami cloth brushed against me. I distinctly felt not only the texture of this robe, but also the gritty surface of the shoes and the pressures of his toes within them, too much astounded to utter a word. I stood up and gazed at him questioningly. Thank you.